Alright. So I spend a lot of time doing what are called Twinks, which are like level 19. This one's 20. I just broke it. So I'm making a new one. But it's like level 19 or 29 or 39, 49, 59, whatever characters that are exclusively for doing like battleground PvP because the brackets go from 10 to 19 or 10 to 29, whatever. So you make a max level character for the bracket, like this should be 19. You get all the best gear that you can find, you enchant it with all the best things you can get, so you're just like as broken as possible. And then you just go in and you just like kick ass. And so one of the things I try to get a lot of people into, so I'm always telling people in my guild like, hey, yo, you should make a twink. It's hella fun. It's like really stress relieving. But one question I've been getting asked is like, what class should I go as a twink? And so I want to talk about that really quickly, just in terms of like from the experience I have, what classes seem really strong, at least in the 19 bracket is what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to start at the bottom of the list. So these are the what I think the worst classes are. I'm saying Warlock and Warrior are the bottom two. In terms of like what they bring to the table, and obviously things can be different. It depends on like whether you're doing world PvP or whether you're doing, not a lot of people do world PvP, but a lot do as well. But this, I'm going to be talking about battleground PvP, either pre-mades or just like pug queues where you are going at whoever. So the thing I think that holds Warlocks back, especially compared to other classes, is that they don't have too much going for them at 19. They can fear people, which is really cool. They can throw a bunch of dots up, but there's not like a lot of spell power gear, so you're kind of just like putting up whatever. And versus Twinks, they have like huge health pools, so you can kind of get through a lot of pugs and like random people who are queuing. But it doesn't really cut it versus Twinks. And then you have fear, which is really nice, so you can like crowd control people. You can throw that around. Most pug like solo queue random people don't have an insignia or anything to break it, so it does pretty well. But if you're like 1v1ing another twink, you're gonna get DR'd before you can kill them, and they're just gonna blow you up, right? The other thing, they have soulstone, I think, at that level, which is kind of cool. So you can do some like crazy flag carry plays or throw a soulstone on your rogue or on your warrior or something and get them in. But that's about it. And when you look at what the other casters bring to the table, they kind of get outshined. And then warriors here, they run into the same problem. They have some cool stuff. Hamstring is amazing. So you kind of just spam hamstring on everyone. They're slowed. No one can get rid of it. Can't be dispelled or anything, which is really nice. You have charge, which like you can get into battle. Overpower is really good in this bracket, especially since like there's a lot of rogues and hunters, and they have a lot of chance to dodge just because their agility is so stacked. So you proc overpower really, really often, and getting those extra swing, like chance to proc things on your weapons, like you might have a glacial stone with like fiery weapon or life stealing. Every time you get that extra swing, and it's just another chance to proc that like amazing damage burst. So they have that, which is cool. They have disarm, which is pretty nice because no one runs weapon chain really. But they don't have an intercept, and so they get kited really, really easily. Like they get hit with entangling roots, or they get feared, or they get slowed by a mage. They're kind of like out of the fight and are just like kind of worthless. But they're not bad though. Just like hamstring and overpower really are sick, and so you can do some cool stuff with warriors. But they lose a lot because they don't have much utility. Oh sure, I gotta make sure I'm hiding the old G chat. So yeah, that's those two guys. I think in the next tier above Warrior and Warlock, they're like D tier, I guess we could call it, or C tier. Let's put a little C. These guys are C tier. Alright, this is going to be B tier. In here you have things like Priest. I think Priests are sick. Don't get me wrong. So with Priest, you have the shield, which is really nice. You can just throw that powered shield on everybody, absorbs a bunch of damage. They have Dispel. They're one of the two classes that can do offensive Dispels, and they can also cleanse their team, which is sick as hell. You have Psychic Scream on a 30-second cooldown. AoE Fear is absolutely broken. You have your little dot you can put on people. It does a little bit of damage. You have Renew, they heal over time, and you have the little Fortitude buff, which is sick. But yeah, really, it's like having that Dispel and Psychic Scream is amazing on a Priest, and then having Renew and Shield as like things you can throw on your flag carrier as you're running around and supporting them kind of make them immortal. It's really hard to kill a priest, especially as a melee class, because you get hit with one psychic scream, you're out. It's going to take you like 30 seconds sometimes just to get back to them, because they're running away kiting, they're not standing still casting spells. So they are actually sick. Priests are sick. They're at the top of B tier. I'm kind of doing this backwards. After priests, and they have also, let's pull this up if I can. Priests have this thing going for them. And I don't know too much about priests, but this is what I run. There's I think cookies might be the best wand. It's pretty strong, 22.3 DPS. I think this is the best wand. But you might go wand specialization so that if people aren't if you don't need to be doing anything, you could just wand the shit out of people and blow them up. And you also get blackout, so you throw a Shadow Word Pain on them, and every tick there's like a 10% chance to stun. That seems crazy. But I've gotten hit by that so many times, it's super frustrating. Super, super strong on Priest. So yeah, they're pretty sick. Make a Priest is what I would tell people if you want to be supportive, and this B tier is also like the support classes. After that, you have Mage I'm putting in there. Polymorph is absolutely insanely strong, especially in Twink v Twink pre-mades. I put Mages down here. They're not very common in North American meta, but I hear in EU they get played all the time, especially in like heavy Twink pre-mades. Just because that Polymorph is so strong. If you don't have a Dispeller, that person's out. So you just Polymorph their strongest guy. Bam, he's out. Other thing they have going for him is Frost Nova at this level is strong as hell. Just AoE immobilization is very, very good, especially with a lot of the common strong classes. And it like totally shits on Warrior. It screws up so many people. Other than that, you have like Frostbolt rank 1 to spam slows on people. You can do your little Arcane Intellect buff, which is nice to give 10 people plus 8. I don't know what it is. Plus 8 int is like a shitload of mana when you think about it. And then Arcane Explosion spam, not too bad. So there's Mage. The other one is Druid, and this is going to seem really low for Druid. I put them bottom of B tier. They are sick flag carriers. It's really hard to kill a Druid. They have bear form here. Oh, and one bad thing about Mage, though, is they don't have blink, it's a nightmare form, kind of. So they don't have that going for them, which makes it not insane, especially when we get to things I'll talk about later. But Druid, really, really strong. Flag carrier as bear form, they get a ton of... I wonder if I could do this. They get a ton of... Alright, it doesn't scale well. But they get a ton of armor, they have a ton of health. I don't know what you do for talents, but I know this one is huge. Nature's Grasp. As a FC, you throw this up anytime someone hits you. The next person pretty much to hit you gets entangled. You could do that, and you could do something like, I don't know, maybe only 1 point in it, because it'll happen eventually, even though there's like a 35% chance for it. They're getting rooted. And then I would assume they do like a little bit of the shape-shifting and a little bit of entangling roots, but they probably go into something else. But that is insane. It means no one can really chase you. It's an instant cast. Entangling roots pretty much. And then just spamming entangling roots on people is sick as hell. And then having the little Mark of the Wild buff is really nice. But the biggest thing is shapeshifting as a FC. Breaks polymorph. It breaks every kind of movement fuckery. And you have a huge mana pool. You just stack stamina and intellect, and you know your jumps, and you like get away from anything. It's sick as fuck. So yeah, there's that. Oh shit, it's starting to rain. Let me see if I can close my window, make it not too loud. But next on the list, I put, this is going to be A tier, right? And this is where you see rogues, because rogues are, I'm sure rogue is like the iconic level 19 twink for everybody. They just dish out infinite damage pretty much. Having Sinister Strike with like a Shadow Fang that has Fiery Weapon on it, you just spam that, you're getting constant Fiery Weapon procs, constant Shadow Fang procs. Your damage is absolutely out of control. You have evasion, you have sprint, you can pretty much go toe to toe with anybody. You can almost catch anybody. You have Garrow. If you want to go daggers and get like the Assassination Blade or Assassin's Blade, you can get huge ambushes. You get that at level 18, so that's kind of disgusting. And you have a lot of ways to go for talents. This is just what I would guess. You want like 5% crit. Improved gouge is really nice. It makes it like a 5.5 second gouge, so you can do that, and then you can bandage, kind of godlike in 1v1s. Reduced Sinister Strike cost seems huge, just so you can get it up more. But you could also go daggers and go for shit like, I don't know, this guy probably... This is nice. There's a lot of you got options. You have Slice and Dice too as a rogue, but I think they get held back by the same thing that warriors get held back from, and that is just like getting one Frostbolt or one Frost Nova on them, or like a hunter sees you coming, and you're kind of shut down, right? So above rogues, I have hunter. Hunters are absolutely disgusting. They have concussive shot. You run improved concussive shot, so there's a 20% chance you stun the target for 3 seconds, so there's just nothing they can do. Beyond that, I don't know what hunters run. Maybe 2% crit and 3% humanoid slaying, but this is the big one. Improved concussive shot, disgusting. So you're constantly slowing people on cooldown. You're constantly putting the little poison sting on people. You get multi-shot, I think at level 18. It might be earlier, but I think it's 18. So you just blast in those early fights. Everyone gets lit up. You have venom strikes, so you're doing like these crazy poison procs. You're doing crazy amount of damage. You get immolation trap around this level, so you can put it down in your flag room if you want to defend, catch a rogue out or something like that. It's just like free damage. You have mongoose bite around this level, so like if you do the little deflection thing, you get a free weapon attack, which is almost like overpower. You put something cool on your weapon, and you can do some crazy damage for that with like a weapon swap from your intellect stamina staff with a plus agility or plus intellect on it, and then swap into like a proc weapon with fiery, and you get your mongoose bites. You 1v1 the shit out of somebody. Really nice. And you have Scare Beast too, which works on druids, which is very, very nice for pre-made fights. So yeah, hunters really good, and the gear you get for hunters, it's like a pretty easy process. You just put in the money. So that's A tier, B tier, C tier. I don't have shaman on this because I don't play horde, so I don't know too much. But as a paladin, I really don't like them because they have purge. They're like a priest where they can dispel you. I don't know where I put them. I want to say B tier honestly, just because purge is really nice, but maybe C tier. They have Earthshock, which can like break a mage's polymorph. They have Tremor Totem too, but like I'm never really scared of shaman. They're just annoying because they spam purge on me, and I'm a paladin. Speaking of which, S tier. S tier. People say I'm biased, but I'm really not. Paladin are broken as hell. Let me see if I'm still logged in. So look at this character, just chilling, sitting at 1400 health. I don't even have like the fishing boots or the fishing goggles. Most twinks will have like 1200 or 1k if they do the Librams and shit, but Paladin's super tanky. They just have it all. Just like look at these abilities. They don't have Blessing of Kings, but they get Wisdom or Might, so they're buffing everyone with something that they really want in your raid group. Hammer of Justice is a nice little gap closer, especially on the FC. You can just like catch up to them and beat their ass. Your team catches up to them. If you need to escape and you're the FC, it gives you one person stunned. It lets you get out of there. It's nice for 1v1s if you need to get a tiny like little bandage tick off or stuff like that. But that's like just the tip of the iceberg for paladins. They're insane. You guys know how I was talking about like rogues doing gouge into Runecloth bandage, which is this bandage is this. I don't know if I still have any here. But yeah, 2k healing over 8 seconds is insane. So it's almost always a max heal, even if you just gouge them for that 5.5. But with Paladin, you can do Blessing of Protection on yourself if you're fighting a melee, and then bam, you're full health. You can fight again for another minute. If you're still going, then you pop Divine Protection. You have another 6-second full heal with a bandage. And it's nice that the bandage debuff kind of works out with the Blessing and shield debuff where you can't be bubbled again for a minute. Those work out really well. So you have you're kind of like a 3-phase boss fight, because once you do this in bandage, you do this in bandage, then you have lay on hands at the same time. So they take out your health bar once, they take it out again. And if you're buffed, you're at like 2k. I can get this character around 2k more if I'm like abusing the goblin buff, but let's not worry about that. So they have to do like 6k damage to kill me pretty much. On top of that, I have Freedom, which is super god tier. It's a 20-second cooldown. If you put the talents into it, it's a 16-second immunity to movement impairing effects. That's concussive shot from hunters. The stun still goes through though, really annoying. And the one thing I want to say about that is you can get hit with a concussive shot. You see the slow thing pop up, react to that and cast Freedom, and then after that the stun gets batched in, so you just like waste 3 seconds of your Freedom, or you waste the whole thing because it eats the concussive shot. But it's good for wing clip and hunters too. I didn't mention it. Wing clip is absolutely disgusting for hunters. Lets them get away from pretty much anybody. But yeah, Freedom. You can't get kited by a hunter. You'll run them into a corner even if they're doing like perfect strafe shooting. Mages, you have no fear of mages except for polymorph. But it's just like you are sick, and you can put this on anybody. Your FC needs to get away, bam, they got it. You're chasing somebody, but you have a party member who's closer. You throw it on them, and they close the gap. If you have like, especially if you have a rogue or a warrior on someone, oh my god, it's disgusting. But you've got that going for you. You can heal if you need to. You could just hang back, throw some heals out. 200's not too bad. It can be pretty clutch, especially on an FC if they really need to get out of there. On top of that, you have Seal of Righteousness, which is disgusting. So like Overpower, Sinister Strike, Mongoose Bite, they all have a chance to trigger your weapon procs again. As a paladin, you get that on every single swing if you have Seal of Righteousness up. The little extra holy damage, it has a chance to proc this guy. So it doubles, it's like just doubling the proc rate on these, on top of the little bonus damage it gets, which is not bad. And you have Seal of the Crusader if you're like in a 1v1 that you think is going to go for a while. Like versus Warriors, I'll drop this on them and then I'll go straight into this. It's just a pretty sick kit that you have. And then with talents too, you ignore this one. But you can do, I don't play holy, I play prot, but if you look at Paladin, if you're holy, you can go plus intellect and spiritual focus, so you have a 70% chance not to get kicked back on your holy lights. Kind of cool. But this is what's actually insane. You go redoubt 5 out of 5, and this is whenever you get crit, which is like all the time if you're fighting a rogue or a warrior or a hunter, constantly you have this up. You have a 30% improved chance to block for the next 5 attacks. So you do this and you run these little guys right here, a Thorium Shield Spike. Every time you block, they're taking 25 damage, and they're hitting you for like 90, maybe 100 if they're like really kitted out. So they're taking like 25% return damage, and you're getting it reduced by like 10 or whatever. It's pretty huge versus rogues, where like if you don't have this, you have a hard time with them. But this lets you go toe to toe with a rogue. It's absolutely out of control. And then you have Guardian's Favor. Your Blessing of Protection goes from 5 minutes to 3 minutes, so you're pretty much spamming it on your casters. If you have a mage in trouble or a priest in trouble, boom, they got that. If you really need to get out of something, you throw it on yourself. You get the little 3% melee hit too, which is really clutch for PvP. It's just pretty disgusting, man. So yeah, that's the list I got for you guys. Hit me up if anyone wants to do some duels or wants to do some Twink queues. I'm gonna have another one. Peace Twink is dead. I think I'm gonna make this tune a 39. But Twink Blade is coming back in the 19 bracket, so look forward to that. And thank you guys. Take it easy.